So Gillian, thank you so much for meeting with me.
It's lovely to meet you.
As you know, I'm the candidate for Knowsley, which is where you're from.
Yep.
So I just wanted you to tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in Knowsley.
Well, I grew up in Huyton. In fact, when you're going round, you will knock on the door. My parents are still there, as are many of my aunts and uncles. So my dad, he grew up on a council estate just in Huyton, not far from Longview Drive, which is where I went to school. And he was one of 13, of which there are 11 still alive or made it to adulthood. So I have a massive family in that area. But still, as you know, it's not very conservative. I'm one of the few conservatives that I know. Plus a friend of mine actually now, she's seen the light, but yeah, most of my school friends are still there, and it's quite a heavy labour place. But.
Yeah. So one of the things that's special about you, I think, is also that you went on and got an apprenticeship at the age of 16. Was that common amongst your friends?
It was actually a really great thing to do. So I went to a comprehensive school in Knowsley, and at the time, Knowsley's quite famous. You're a teacher yourself, right?
Yes, I am, yeah.
If you Google Knowsley Comprehensive School Education, it's quite famous in teaching circles as being one of the poorest in terms of attainment. So the comprehensive school I went to, they actually closed every comprehensive school down in Knowsley because they just thought this was so bad, the results were so awful, and they reopened 7 new ones, and the results are a bit better in some cases but not in many others. So actually the school was so poor that you would have found it very difficult if they had a sixth form. Intermittently they'd have a sixth form and then they'd close because not enough children got the grades to even go on to sixth form. So more or less there was no sixth form on offer at the time. So most people left school at 16. So if you're leaving school at 16, you're either going to go to what was a YTS then, which was a young person's training scheme, or an apprenticeship. So actually in apprenticeships, and I was delighted. So I got one which was in a car factory in Kirby. You've been to Kirby, I
have,
think.
yeah.
And Kirby is quite a deprived area really. So it was actually the best thing that I've ever done, and I'm a huge fan of apprenticeships now. I'm an apprenticeship ambassador in Parliament, and that's because it was kind of a life changer for me. They sponsored me. I went to Kirby Further Education College, I did an ONC, etc. And then they sponsored me all the way through to degree level. So I would work 4 days a week and study 1 day a week. And I did that for many years. I did that for 6 years, and then I eventually ended up with a BA Honours in Business Studies. So it was a great way to do it. It's free, and actually they also pay you, so it's a win-win. Yes. It isn't for everybody. Some people like to go to university, be away from home and have the whole experience. But I meet many degree apprenticeships now, and apparently for pretty much for every place there'll be at least 100 applications, because many people think, God, that's a brilliant way to do it. And it's not just that it's free. It's that you're also guaranteed to be studying the right thing. The world moves on very quickly. Since I started work all that time ago, there's been at least 2 technology shifts, and there'll be another one, with AI and robotics. So if you do it in this way, you're guaranteed almost to be worthwhile to a business. They'll basically invest in what's the latest and greatest, what they need, the things that they're short of, the skills they're short of.
And they're getting their experience. You're coming out with your experience in work as well as in education.
Yeah, and you must know yourself as a teacher. Sometimes things are a bit theoretical, and you think, how can I explain this? Well, the great thing about doing an apprenticeship is you actually apply what you learned the next day. So it's less theoretical, and it's a great way of learning for some people as well. Sometimes being too abstract is a bit, you're kind of thinking, well, I don't really understand what they mean, I can't really imagine it. Whereas actually you can apply a lot of what you learn, or you can ask somebody in the workplace the next day. So I am a huge fan, and particularly, if you didn't get a shot at a great education the first time round. I mean, some of the, I don't know what your school's like that you're teaching, but some of the schools are brilliant.
Yes.
And some of them need to make sure that we strive to improve the standards in schools, which is why I think things like Ofsted are actually important.
Yes.